Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Tennessee Liquid. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to paint the amazing steampunk Wonder Woman. But this video got a little longer than I originally wanted, so I split it into two parts. The first part is going to be how I painted this base and this awesome flag right here. And then the second part is going to be painting the Wonder Woman herself. So without further ado, let's jump on into that video. This model was designed by My Custom Models, so if you would like to own this model to do it yourself, just head on over to her Patreon and purchase the model. To start off with, the renders that I had of this model was the base was all black, or at least a dark gray, and I thought I would make it just a little bit of different color because I didn't really want my base to be gray. So I started off with the columns, primering them a white, and I come back with an ivory white because if you look at columns are not white. They are more of an off color. And that is why I chose ivory, because it is an off white. And once you get both those painted, you want to come back with I chose a dark brown panel line wash. Now if you've never used this stuff, it's pretty thin and it goes on pretty good. And this is just one of them little funny looking makeup sponges that you can get at Walmart or your local dollar store or whatever. Wherever you buy makeup, you can get these little sponges. They're not much and you can use them for all kinds of stuff. And you just want to take and just spot this stuff all over it, kind of like a dry brush with a sponge, if you know what I mean. And then there's some spots that you can't get with the sponge because the sponge is just too big. So you want to take just an old paintbrush and put it on there and then try to get it back off with the sponge that is too big for the hole, if that makes any sense to anybody. Now with the base, I just left the bottom of it kind of a primer black, and I didn't really know what to do with this base. She looked like she was standing in mud, and then she looked like she was standing on rock, and then it looked like it's standing on mud. You know, that conundrum there that I didn't know what to do, so I just decided to do it all mud. But I wanted to try something different that I've not tried on any of my other models. Is called a wet blend. It's where you start off dark with the dark color and you just build up with a lighter color as you go up while the paint is still wet. So, and with that, it just kind of blends it all together, which is why it is called a wet blend. And I think it come out pretty good for my first try. I did have to come back and kind of touch up a few places, but all in all, I think it looked pretty good for my first try. And the good thing about doing it like this is if you don't like it, you can always just spray it back black and go again. or just keep adding colors to the top of it to get the color that you're wanting, because every mud's different. So go have a little fun and just get crazy with it and just start slapping some brown on it and see what comes out. Now the pillars had some of this mud on it as well, and no, it's not the pillows that you lay your head on. These pillars would be hard and you wouldn't want to lay your head on them, and they had mud on them. So you want to come back with the same technique that you did the base with and do this mud that is on these pillars laying on the ground. And after you get that done, it had a gold stripe that went around the base, which is where the blue tape is right now. And somebody, I'm not calling any names, forgot to push the record button when they did that, but it is there and you just have to take my word for it. Moving along to the flag. Now the flag that came with this model was kind of weird looking. It had stripes, but instead of stars it had like a gear logo. And I tried to paint it and it didn't come out good. It didn't come out good at all. So I decided to try another method. And if you stay tuned, I will show you this method. And I think it come out pretty good. And if you're watching this in a not America country, the good thing about this method is you can make this any flag you wanted to. So just sit back and I'll show you how I did it. To start off with, the flagpole that you print, it didn't really hold the flag up right. After about a day, it started bending and the flagpole just looked like it was bent. So I just decided I'm gonna try to fix this. And the way that I fixed this, I just went down to my local hardware store and picked up a really long bolt about the same size diameter as the pole that went in the flag. And then I cut off the head and the threads on each end and stuck it in on my grinder and grinded down the end so that it fit in the end of the flagpole. One important part when you're grinding your part down is you want it to fit inside of the hole in the other end of the flag. You don't want to get it too tight because then you may end up busting the other pole, but you don't want to get it too loose either because it will be kind of wobbly. And after I got that done, I come back with some of this 5-minute epoxy. Now if you've never used this stuff's pretty good stuff. It cures fast and it's pretty strong. I mean, it's strong enough to hold this. I mean, I wouldn't want to hang off a cliff or anything with it, but it's strong enough to do this with. And then after I got that done, I come back with some UV putty and cleaned up the place where the metal and the resin connected. Now, I guess you could have somehow painted this and made it look kind of like a stripe or a band or a ribbon or something just to cover up that stripe, but I chose not to do that. I just done it this way and I think it come out pretty good. Moving on to the flag part. I went on Google and just Googled old American flag. And then after I found the picture that I wanted, I put it in a program called Inkscape. Now this program is completely free and you can blow it up in any size that you want it. And one important thing is if you're doing both sides, just to remember you gotta reverse the image, because if you don't, you just have the white part on the back again. My first piece that I printed, I made it the exact same size as my flag, and that was too small. So I had to go back in and print another one 3/4 of an inch wider than the actual flag. The length was fine, it's just the width was not because of the folds in the flag. And you want to make sure that you come in first before you start trying to glue anything, and dry fit everything. Go ahead and get your creases in your paper and get your folds and everything. Now I tried to use some photo paper and it was just too thick. It wouldn't bend like I wanted it to, and it just wasn't good at all. And you can't really use sticker paper because then it just sticks to everything. It'll stick to your hands, to the model, to the table, everything. It sticks to everything. It's a sticker. That's why it is called a sticker. It sticks to everything. With that being said, I use just regular old plain paper. And I did test the paper before I started doing this to make sure that I could clear coat it, just to make everything get locked in and you won't have to worry about the ink rubbing off or anything like that. So you can clear coat it after you get done. And after you get it dry fitted, now it's time for the glue. So let's move on to the next step. If you watched my video from before on the Catwoman, I had some of this Elmer's glue that I used to put the fur on the cat. So I just went ahead and used this to put the flag on this model. And you want to make sure that you use a brush. Now this is the same brush that I used for the cat. And to clean these brushes, all you gotta do is just wash them in warm soap water. And as you can see, I didn't really clean mine out all that great. But in the end, it worked just as good. When you go to apply the glue, you want to put it on in sections. You don't want to cover the whole entire flag, because this stuff, when you put it on in thin coats like this, it does try to dry reasonably quick and your paper won't stick to it. So put on just a little bit at a time and start from where you done your creases at the end and work your way forward. And then you just want to, when you get that put down, you want to come back in and add just a little bit more glue, and you just keep moving to this on this process until you get it all on the flag. And as you go along, the glue will make the paper soft, kind of like playing with tissue paper, so it will be easier to tear and get holes and wrinkles and stuff in it. So just kind of take your time and push it and pull it to however you need it to go on there, which is another reason you glue a little bit at a time. Now I did end up getting a little hole on the other side where I pressed it too much and my finger tore a hole in it because the paper was super thin. And I'll show you how to fix that in just a few minutes. But for now, let's just get this piece of paper on this model. Now I'm going to speed the video up just a little bit because it did take a few minutes to get this on. And sometimes you may have to come back with a little tool. Now this is just a little metal rod that I had laying around from somewhere. I got no clue where it came from, but it worked. And I used it some to kind of press the paper down into the folds to try to manipulate the paper just to get it down in there. Now I did have a couple little wrinkles on the end, but I don't think they looked that bad, and I didn't really know how to get them out. So I just done the best I could just by pushing and pulling, and this is where the thin paper will take effect when you're trying to push and pull. I did use some of these, I think they're called alligator clips that you get for models when you're painting stuff. I got a bunch of these things. So I did use these to just kind of hold it in place until I can get it to where I wanted it and try to get some of these wrinkles out. The end of the flag where it is supposed to be tore was the hardest place to get to stick because there's not a lot of surface there for the glue to stick to. So you just kind of put the glue on it and then set it on there. And I left these clips on it. I think I left them overnight just to make sure everything is good and dry and stays where it's supposed to stay. Now when you get that where you want it to go, it should look something like this on the back side, which is the reason I printed it a lot larger. And you can see right here, this is the hole that I was talking about that from, you know, earlier in the video. If you remember, I said I tore a hole in it. So I'm fixing to show you how I fixed that, because you can't really paint it and make it look right. So I just decided to do something a little different with it. So let me show you how I fixed that. So I decided to make that a hole in the flag, because this flag is supposed to be, you know, torn and roughed up really good. Now the way you want to cut this stuff, you cut resin with diamond bits. Now you normally use these bits to cut glass with, but it works really good on resin. And I didn't know this for a long time, and I forgot where I learned it, but I learned it from somewhere, and now you can learn it from me. Just get you some diamond bits. They're not that super expensive, and these work really good. And the good thing to remember is always wear your mask when you're doing this, because you don't know what this stuff is, and you don't know what you're breathing, and you don't know what it'll do to your body. So just always wear a mask when you're doing this. Now I did have to come back with a drill and drill a small hole just to be able to get through the resin and the paper on the other side. But then after you get that in, you can just stick your bit in there and start going around the edges. Now you don't want to make a good clean hole. Just make it where you tore the hole in it and make it the same size. And then after you get it cut out, you want to come back with your X-Acto knife. Now you want to make sure this is a pretty sharp knife, because you do got to cut this paper the shape of the hole that you just made in your flag. So just make sure you got a good sharp knife and you won't have any problems. When you get all that cut out and everything done, I went around the outside of the flag and the inside of the hole, or the outside of the hole, however you want to say that, and I painted it black just to kind of give it a little outline. And one of the purposes for doing this is you want to make sure you cover up all the white that is left behind from the paper, because on the other side of the paper of the flag is white, and you don't want any of that showing. So you want to just come back and take this black, and if you see white around the edges, paint it black, and that'll get rid of everything, and you won't even know that it's a piece of paper. It'll look awesome when you get done. For the inside of the hole, because it's white, you don't want to just paint this black. You want to make it look like it's been torn. So I just looked around my shop and found some colors that I thought would match pretty close to the colors of the stripes that is on it. I think this is a skeleton horde by Citadel, and it's pretty close to the brown color of the white. And then I come back with a red, which I can't remember the color of the red, but it was a red. Yeah, there it is. I think it's called Dried Blood from Game Color, and it matched pretty good. It's not perfect, but it matched. And then when you get all that done, you want to come back and paint the flagpole silver, and the little ball thing on top of it the gold color. And after that, you can call this flag done. And then anybody who sees this model will be like, man, that is a good looking flag. I mean, look at the thing. You can't get no better than that. That is awesome. And like I said earlier in the video, this doesn't have to be an American flag. You can make it any flag that you want it to be. It's pretty much all done the same way. And after you get all that done, the base is done. And here we are again at the end of another video. And like I said before, this is only part 1 of a 2-part series. So tune back in and catch me painting the rest of the model later on. And I would like to thank each and every one of y'all for sticking around and watching my video. You are the reason that I do these videos. And if you haven't subscribed to me yet, now is your chance. It's free of charge and you're helping the algorithm out. So if you ain't got nothing better to do, go back and watch it again. And maybe I'll help you out just a little bit on painting your next model. So tune back in the next time for the rest of this amazing Wonder Woman build. And always remember to treat people the way you want to be treated. Until the next time, y'all come back now, you hear?